Look at that.
You look
Look
like
at that.
you look like a magician.
Uh-oh, hang on. There we go. Now I'm set.
You hear what I said?
I meant to do this one. Hello, everybody.
I can barely see you.
Really? Oh, yeah, I'm blending
Increase my
in.
brightness. Yeah, you're blending in. Yeah. You look like a YouTube magician that, they just want you to see their hands. Right.
Yeah. Mime.
This is
What is
this is
that?
the first time. This is the first time I've thought about my outfit before wearing it.
Yeah. So what were you thinking when you decided
I
to wear
thought,
that?
Rich is gonna like this because he's always saying my outfits are crazy. But
Yeah.
this is genuinely this. So usually I wear in the morning what I was wearing the night before, right? I fold it up and put it under my nightstand. And this is what I was wearing last night. So I decided to wear it for this morning. But I've never thought like, let me wear a weird outfit for the podcast. This is always just what I'm wearing.
Yeah, you got a style, man. That's for sure.
This one's cool. I'll show you.
It's yeah. I never I don't have the figure for one of those side zips.
Well, that's the whole point. Is if you grow a little, you just unzip.
And then it looks worse. Then it makes you look like you're really fat.
It makes you look like you're wearing a tent. It makes you look like you've been tented.
It's just it's basically a like a poncho.
Yeah.
But you can't but it's evident that you cannot actually zip it. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's going on? How's the job search going? What's going on there?
Busy. Can you how do you take this off of the stand?
You just unscrew the thing you're literally touching.
This thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking of maybe just holding it like a microphone. But it's kind of heavy with the stand.
I'm sure it's not going to be super comfortable holding it without the stand.
Yeah. Anyway, job search is going well. Busy. OpenAI has been doing a project to write something with their API to prove that I understand the technology and then define what companies I think they should be selling to. So it's like a little written assignment, which should be fun.
So you're using ChatGPT? You're using ChatGPT to write why you should be selling ChatGPT?
I don't know if I should be or shouldn't be. But I think it's definitely one of the two. It's either I definitely should be or I definitely shouldn't be. But no, I'm not. And yeah, I had a couple in person on Wednesday. What is today? Friday, right? Yeah, a couple in person on Wednesday. It's getting to the point of the process now where I'm going to start thinning out the herd, and the anxiety is going to get ratcheted up because there's only really a few good ones, and those are the ones I want, and they move. The right company is going to take their time, so I'm starting to get pretty antsy.
Well, what are you, only 2 weeks in?
I am 3 weeks in now.
Is it 3? Okay.
3 weeks as of yesterday.
Okay. I mean, still, if that's.
I'm moving at the right pace. My goal when I started was March 15th to have an offer, and I'm moving. I should. There's a couple of companies that have said to me, we don't want to make a decision until April. A couple that have rescheduled an interview at the last minute, and then that slowed it down. But for the most part, I think I should be tracking towards an offer, hopefully, around that time. So, yeah, man. What's interesting? The unemployment benefit for New Jersey and the unemployment benefit for New York, the maximum unemployment weekly benefit, are very different, which is not something I would have guessed. And it's much higher in New Jersey, like double.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
But New York, you pay higher taxes. It's much more expensive to live. Yeah. And it's half of what it is in New Jersey.
Well, I guess that's really comes down to you pay higher taxes overall, but that's one if you're living in Manhattan, right? Maybe that has something to do with that. You probably don't pay higher taxes if you live in fucking I don't know, White
Albany.
Plains.
Yeah.
I was
White
gonna say
Plains, you
Albany.
definitely still do. Yeah, but Albany, you don't.
What's let's look up some third tier cities in New York and their tax rate.
How much time have you spent in Buffalo?
Very little. Only passing
Yeah.
through. Only ever
Yeah.
passing through. Never
What were
never
your
actually
impressions of passing through Buffalo?
Binghamton. I
You
don't
know what's
know.
funny? I finished my degree at SUNY Binghamton. I needed like a credit and a half, and I did it online at SUNY Binghamton. That's so I know that one.
Is that what your diploma says? You
No, it
graduated
says
from SUNY.
Franklin. It says
It's a
Franklin and Marshall College,
okay.
but it should say Franklin and Marshall College with a little help from SUNY Binghamton.
That's right. There's some like when I think of New York, I don't think of names like Schenectady. Like that doesn't seem like a New
Schenectady.
York name. Schenectady or Oswego. Like those are weird names. They should be in different states.
Yeah.
But you're kind of getting up into like New England at that point where those places are. I'm guessing. I don't know where they are.
So yeah, you're just if you just you're going up the Hudson. I can see your iPath. Saratoga Springs, Glen Falls. Those are actually the first tier cities in New York State. If you kind of follow the Hudson up.
I'm just looking at a list.
Oh, okay.
Cheektowaga,
Chautauqua.
Rappingers Falls. These are difficult city towns to pronounce.
What about like
Holy
Syracuse?
shit, man! Let me just share this.
Yeah. Let me see what you're looking at.
This is ridiculous. Look at these. Massapequa. I feel like I've heard of that. How do you
Is that
say
in New
this?
York though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, New
good
York
question.
City's, I'm
Ha-
guessing.
ha-
No, not Terrytown. Long
Tarrytown's
Island.
actually a cool place.
Sounds like it.
You know
Bunch of
what? You know,
Terrys.
did you watch Mad Men?
No,
Really?
really.
Why? What's your goddamn problem?
Man, I'm too busy
No, you're not.
doing other
Look at what
things.
we're doing.
That's true. I could have set my alarm for 7:15 to get up and watch Mad Men.
Yeah. I mean, if it's the number one, not the number two. It's the one.
You think so? I did watch
I do.
Breaking Bad and I loved it, and that's kind of the other show, right? They were on the same time, and that was uh the thing, right? Because they were always winning Emmys, or one was winning Emmys and the other one wasn't.
Yeah. Mad Men won. Um, Mad Men won the Emmy for best drama 4 years in a row.
Was it that way, or was it the Breaking Bad did, and then because Breaking Bad ended, Mad Men won?
I'm pretty sure Mad Men won.
To the internet.
I think Mad Men won best drama 4 years in a row because it was the best drama 4 years in a row.
Four times from 8 nominations.
It's pretty impressive.
Breaking Bad's got to be in here. Yeah, maybe not.
I think Breaking Bad won. Excuse me. I think Breaking Bad won
Won a couple times.
I think they were on at the same time, and that's
No,
I think what's his name won. Cranston won. So really, if you liked Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul is a better show in my opinion,
is it.
and that's
I
that's the number two show ever. It goes Mad Men, then Better Call Saul, and you haven't seen either of those.
I tried to get into Better Call Saul, and I watched first couple episodes, and again, it's one of these shows where people are like, you gotta watch it, and I never watch it while it's actually on. It's years after it's ended before I even start, which I prefer, right? Because then you can You know, you go
Well,
on
just
to
for the record,
AMC,
it ended like 8 months ago.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Right. So I started trying to watch that one when it came on
Got it.
because I liked Breaking Bad so much. In the first couple episodes, I'm like, okay, and then you know, if I don't like one episode, I'm done because I don't want to like I have to like you're like, oh, you got to stick it out. I love that. That's a fucking ridiculous. That is such a stupid. You got to stick it out. You got to spend 3 hours of your time watching something that is mediocre, and then it gets better. I'm not gonna. No, I'm just not gonna do that.
Grind through it. Grind through the pain.
You
It's
gotta really
rewarding.
just. It's tough, but I know it's difficult. But you gotta suck it up and watch for 3 hours before you may enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. That's dumb advice.
So yeah, no more of that. That's why I don't watch TV shows, man. Because we'll even watch some of these Bravo shows. Do you guys watch those?
Give me an
Allison in the
example of
Bravo?
one.
Real Housewives, any of them.
No, but I know people enjoy them so much that I want to get into them. It's never crossed my path.
So Allison doesn't watch them.
No, she might. I mean, not that I know
Yeah.
of.
It is mindless TV, man. Just watching
Yeah.
women argue.
Yeah, I mean, people seem to love them.
They're pretty funny. I watch. Sarah watches more of them than I do, but it's again, I'm not a huge TV fan, but if a couple nights a week, be like just throw on a Bravo show. Scroll through my phone.
She's more into the Netflix garbage. Like she's a sucker for like a good Netflix teen movie, right? She likes like a Twilighty teen drama. She likes the teen angst.
Yep.
That's her. Yeah. And anything I can put on where I can then do play Wordle and do the spelling bee on my phone and look through Twitter, I'm happy.
The spelling bee.
Spelling bee, yeah, is I don't think I have my phone on me, but it's the one where you have to make. It's actually pretty fun. You want to play together?
Sure.
All right, let me pop it up.
Spelling bee. So
we do this in our house each day. It shows you letters and you have to make words.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah, man. And Allison gets Queen Bee almost every day. So let's see what it looks like today.
There's a way where I think you can play that game online. There's a different version of this where it'll show you letters, and I see people play it on stream. They'll like throw it up, and then you can play from your phone. You like scan a QR code, and then you're in the game.
Oh yeah,
and you're competing against the other people watching the stream. Anyway, okay. So what do we got here?
You have to use the center letter, and it has to be at least 4 letters. And I can shuffle them up to.
Yeah.
So like embodied is a word, but I always try to get the big one. Woo!
Wow.
And you see, like, there's this little score thing here. And if you look at the rankings, in order to get to genius, we need to get to 122, and we're only at 14.
And how do you know if you got the biggest word?
It'll have used every single letter at least once. But you can use letters twice, like I did with Bob, BB.
Yeah, okay.
Or like imbibe is a word. Imbibed. Isn't it a word? Imbibe? Is that not a word? Joel and
Mob.
Bede?
M-O-B. Mob.
Gotta be at least 4.
Mobbed. There's going to be a lot of EDs, right?
Yeah, you would think. Like bided.
Vibed.
Or bidded.
Vibe.
I guess bid is.
Oh, is that it? There you go.
Don't you goddamn dare tell me to stop what I'm doing. What is this? Subscribe.
The
I'm already
paywall.
subscribed.
I wonder if I get that. I subscribe to New York Times, but I only get the crosswords, I think.
I don't want to. I'm already a subscriber, guy.
Oh no, I do have that.
Yeah, if
That
you
would
if you
be-
pay for the New York Times, you got it. But I don't know why it's not
I
letting
got
me.
I got it right here as an option. That's cool.
Can I get a New York Times account? This isn't fun.
Just want to read the New York Times.
I do subscribe. Wasn't associated with the new subscription.
It
What?
says log out.
What?
Uh-oh. Is it a different subscription for the games?
I think I did it with my work email. Try a different
Oh.
email. Well, it's not really letting me try. All right. Well, that was fun.
Log out.
So here's a question. I was thinking about it. If you could start over in your career, what would you do?
Yeah.
If I could start over,
Like if you could be anything. And like I'm not talking about like I'm gonna be a rock star basketball player. Like what would you do for work? You've not thought about this? Mr.
no, I
Insightful?
have. I would do something like this, right? If I could start over, am I starting over today or am I starting over when I started over? Or when I
Yeah,
started?
not today, but yeah. Out of
Yeah.
college. And you have to make money at it. And you have to like live. You have no money and you have to figure out a way to make money. So like doing this is probably
Maybe journalism. I think that would be interesting. Researching, writing. I'd like that. I think those are two strengths of mine that I'd like to do. What about you?
pilot
Yeah?
or like air traffic control. Man, I love airports and airplanes. I do.
I don't think I knew this about you.
Yeah. I don't know that it was always like
Oh, yeah,
that, but I was
You did tell me that you used to watch the planes.
I watch live streams of airplanes taking off. I just think they're cool,
Yeah.
man. I think it's such a cool like airports are. I've always been fascinated by airports. They're such a hub of activity, man. There's so many people there, and like people traveling. It's interesting to walk through the airport and be like, everybody here is either going somewhere or has just arrived from somewhere.
Right.
Like, why? Everyone's got a different story. There's a reason everyone's.
Yeah,
no
that.
one's no one just
I
happened.
think
to
about
wake
that
up
when
and
I'm in.
accidentally
Yeah.
got on an
Right. That's
airplane.
true. Sometimes I think about that in traffic, and I say to Allison, I'm like, all of these people are going somewhere that they think is extremely important. Just go home. Like, what is this guy go? Where's he going? Does he really need to go there? What is he doing? Just go
When
home.
you're
What are you doing?
When you're in traffic, it's always with a tinge of fury. Like you
Yeah,
just
get the fuck out of my way.
yeah, right there. You're just mad. What are you doing on the road?
Yeah, you don't need to be here. But you're right. At the airport, everyone's got a story, like because they've been very intentional about it. They've cleared off their calendar. They've dedicated resources towards it, and now they are setting off on a journey. I mean, airports are always exciting. Even when I land at my airport and you walk off the jetway and come into the airport, that's a pretty great feeling, no matter where you are or where you're going or why.
You feel cool, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's looking at you because they're
Yeah.
trying to get on that airplane. You're like,
Right.
Are there still people coming down that jetway? Get off the airplane. I want to get on.
I love how the time between people getting off the plane and you getting on has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Because, and then during COVID, it got long again. And now it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter again because they used to clean the planes, then they stopped cleaning the planes, then they had to clean the planes, and now they kind of don't have to anymore. Then they
Don't
give
have-
you a little thing when you get on the plane so you can clean the plane.
That's genius. I don't know why they don't do that. They
Dude,
just
I
they'll come. They
sanitize
come
my
through and
whole
pick up.
environment.
They come through and they pick up trash, and that's about it.
Yeah.
There's no more wipe downs. I do not do that. Not because I don't think it's necessary. I just never think about it.
Oh
Get
man.
on there and
Well,
just touch everything.
I bring
Touch my
wet wipes
house.
with me just in case too. I do the seatbelt first before I touch it, the screen, the armrest. Like it's all disgusting. I've gotten sick too many times on a plane. Like I'm tired of that. I'm not doing it anymore. And like the guy on work release whose job is to empty out the seat back, pockets in front of you. I'm not trusting him either because like 4 out of 10 times I find a newspaper or like someone's lunch in there from the flight before me.
Someone's wet wrap or wet
Yeah.
nap that they used, and they just stuff it in there, and it never gets taken out.
I actually, after I use mine, I refold it and put it back into the packaging it came in.
To hold to then drop in.
Yes.
To
I've
the
got a whole routine.
opened. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't do that.
I don't like flying unless I'm in first class or business class. I mean, because there's nothing to enjoy about it. It's a miserable experience. But it's amazing how much that changes. Have you ever had the pleasure of being in one of the lay flat seats in business class, like a pod?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the difference between showing up at your destination frustrated, irritated, overheated, and overtired, and like rested, fed, hydrated, and ready to go. It's a huge difference.
There's some of that. My dad always said it becomes part of the vacation. Usually it's a vacation, right? I mean, the only time I've ever done it was when we went on our honeymoon, and
Yeah.
he's,
Good usage.
we yeah, especially when you're flying. We went to Hawaii, so we were
Ooh.
on the plane forever. It becomes part of the vacation instead of just like the thing you have to do to get to vacation.
Right. Well, when
Which is cool.
because you're in the lounge beforehand, you get the shorter lines for the luggage. It's definitely part of the vacation. When Max and Rahul and I went to Thailand together, we got there very early for our flight, and we were, it's a pretty long flight. I think we were going to Japan and then Thailand, and they were like, we're doing, business class was undersold, so for $500 each, you can all upgrade to business class. And we had paid like $400 for our tickets, so we were all over that. It's the first time ever. I've done it a few times since then, but that was the first, and that was like a good first time to do it. Like we were so obnoxious, taking pictures and like, I didn't want to sleep. It was a 10-hour flight to Tokyo, and I stayed up the whole time because I wanted to enjoy every second of those amenities. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I do have a good pic. I took a picture of that flight. They had games on the screen in first class, whatever it was, business class. And I set the high score on the Tetris game, like all 10
Did you?
scores. All 10.
Nice job.
You said Rich. Yeah.
Was there anyone to beat, really?
No, it was just me.
I mean, so
You
there
play
was no
against
high score before you.
There might have been. I erased that shit. I think you play against everyone on the plane, and no one could touch me. No one in first class, at least.
Yeah, I don't think the people in regular economy and non-refundable economy had the same option to play Tetris.
Yeah, they're like playing like this.
Yeah, they had to play like this.
I'll tell you what I do.
That's what I mean, though. You're on the same plane. They land, like Steve Jobs said, they land at the same time. But people are willing to pay a lot more for first class, and they should be. It's worth every penny.
So if I my new thing is, so I don't fly enough anymore where I have status. So I don't get I fly American, and I don't have the main cabin extra is what they call it. Their version of economy plus. So I like the aisle seat, but I will move to the back of if there are open seats, I am moving to the back of the plane to have my own row, or at least a row where there's no one in the middle seat. Right. I will get off the plane last.
That's
I don't
just
care.
As good.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I mean. I think like being in row 9 is miserable because you're packed. I mean, it's no better.
No, it's not. But like I will take empty row. because then you can at least spread your legs out a little bit. But when was the last time you were in like an economy non-refundable, not economy plus, not exit row seat?
Yesterday.
'Cause this would have had to be like yesterday?
Yeah. I flew
You
in,
did-
like row. The plane had 27 rows. I was in row 25.
That's fucking terrible, man. How was it?
I had my own row. It was great. I moved back
Oh,
there
you
on
had your own
purpose.
row. Okay.
Like
All right.
I'm not trying to fight to get to row 13. That just doesn't make any, so what? So I can get off the plane and, I'm taking an Uber. It's not like all the Ubers are going to be gone by the time I call one if I get off last.
Right. No, I mean, once you're in that section, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I just, if I can get a little extra leg room, it just depends on if it's a full flight or not. If it's not a full flight, yeah, who cares? I'll take the last row if I got it by myself,
Yeah, if it's
even
a
though-
full flight.
even though they
give
don't
me
recline.
Yeah, and the fight for overhead space is always annoying. But if
Yeah.
you get in, and that's the other thing, right? So I usually board in group 5. Group 4 is everyone who has gold status. I have like the credit card status.
Yeah.
On American. So I get on after most of the business travelers get on, and they all pack themselves into the first few rows, and then all of a sudden,
Is it like you can choose wherever you want to sit?
yeah. I always book a seat where I can like pick. I always book a ticket that allows me to choose my seat.
What? Wait, but you have an assigned seat
What do you
before you
want?
get on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Which-
saying like they get on and race toward like the school bus. They race towards the front rows.
It's not Southwest.
Yeah. I've never flown Southwest, but that sounds fucking
Really?
horrible. Yeah.
There's a lot of strategy that's involved with Southwest because you get I haven't flown it in a few years at this point. From what I remember is this when you can check. So there are like not business class, but there are priority seats. So you're guaranteed to be one of like the first 15 people on the plane, but there's no different classes. It's just all economy. Essentially.
All Southwest class
Southwest
on a
class.
737 Max.
Everybody else is you get your order to get on the plane based on it's like buying tickets for a fucking U2 concert. You got to be on there when it says check in. You got to be. It's literally first come first serve. And then you line up and it's miserable because then you got to ask people what their number. That sucks. And then you get on the plane and then you got to figure it out, right? Because you don't know if it's going to be a full plane or not. And the aisles on the windows will fill up first, and then it's like middle seats go back to the back of the plane.
Right.
So you're trying to find
middle seats being
people-
your only option.
That's it. No one
Right.
chooses. I mean, I guess if you're flying with somebody, that's different. But if you're by yourself, you're not sitting in the middle seat. If there's there's an aisle seat 20 rows back, I'm gonna go sit there.
Of course.
And then you got to find the people who. For me, it's all about sitting next to someone who has narrow shoulders. That's it. That's
Right,
all
but
that
like
matters to me.
I could imagine if you're late on the plane, you're coming down and there's only middle seats available. It's like a Forrest Gump scenario.
Yeah.
Can't sit here.
Yeah,
Seats
that's what happened.
taken.
So I think it goes from like there's 3 boarding groups. It's like A 1 through 60, B 1 through 60, and then like C 1 through whatever, however many seats are left on the plane. I think that those things hold like 180 seat, 200 maybe. I
200
forgot.
miserable passengers per plane.
I forgot to check in. I was flying back from Austin, and when I
boy.
checked in, my number was C72 or something like that. I was the last one on the plane, and that's exactly how I felt. I was and I'm a bigger guy, so you could just see
Yeah.
people like
Oh, fuck.
walking.
Don't
like,
pick
oh my
here.
gosh.
Don't pick here. Don't pick here. Like they're making their most unfriendly faces to show you. Like, I'm surprised you didn't walk down the aisle and some people were like, "Grr," and others were like hissing at you or lunging, like trying to make you think that they were crazy.
You're like they're all like one of those animals in the wild who like make themselves look bigger
Yeah.
when they're threatened. Spread out. Like, this isn't going to be comfortable for either of us. So don't sit here. Yeah, right. That's kind of what it
Yeah,
felt like.
that's funny.
But at the same time, I'm walking down the seat and I'm like, I'm looking for the smallest person on at least one side. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna ruin your day.
And then-
I'm sorry.
And you find that person, and it's probably a woman or a man with very narrow shoulders, and they knew it the second you walked on the plane. They know it, you know it, and they know there's nothing they can do to be intimidating because they've got
Yeah.
such narrow shoulders. Probably not a big person,
No.
and then do you make eye contact with them, and they're just like,
Oh yeah. Well, again, I've done this one time, and then the other time, when I get on an airplane, I'm usually in the aisle and I'm looking at the people coming. Just like everybody. I know there's someone in the seat next to me because I looked at the seat map before I got on, and I'm like, I see these people that get on and they're bigger than me, and I'm like, I swear, over 75% of the time, the person sitting next to me on an airplane is bigger than I am. It's just how.
yeah, I don't know how that happens.
Always.
It defies odds, right? Because you are a bigger person. So like, yeah. And I'm not a small person, but I'm kind of right in the middle. But still, that means that there should be half people that are smaller than me and half the people that are bigger than me. But there's not. Only on planes, I'm only sitting next to people that are 2 to 3 times bigger than me.
Oh, there's an NFL lineman on this flight. Put him next to Rich. Cool, thanks. Dude,
So,
yeah.
How much money do you save on Southwest for that horrible experience?
I don't worry about that really.
So why would you ever fly Southwest then?
Because they have, depending on the airport. So the last time I went to Wisconsin to play golf, and Southwest, I flew in and out of Milwaukee, and that's a big Southwest airport. So you can either fly Southwest direct from DCA, from Reagan, or you can maybe take I don't even know if there were flights that were out of Dulles. There were no American Airlines flights at that point, or United. I think I might have been flying United at that point. It was the most convenient flight. Let's put it that way. It's not the I don't worry about the price anymore.
What's your favorite DC airport?
Oh, Reagan. Reagan's my favorite airport in the country. It's not even close.
Why? Of course.
I just had this conversation.
Duh.
We were literally playing golf last week.
Everyone knows it's not even close to Reagan.
It's not even close.
Why?
Okay. I'll go through I literally just ran through these reasons with someone playing golf last week. And he agreed with me. And that's why I fly American. I don't care about the airlines. Like either one, United, American, they're all the same. American flies out of DCA. And dude, when we lived on our old place on 14th Street, I could get into a cab or an Uber, and 25 minutes later, I am through security. I'm at the gate.
Do you have Clear?
No. I have
It's
TSA
ridiculous.
pre-check.
You should get Clear and pre-check. Right. The combination, it's 30 seconds through security. Just saying.
It doesn't matter. Dude, I fucking get through security when I go to DCA in 30 seconds. There's no it's unbelievable.
But if you live in a major American city, that's not an option.
So, Reagan, you get there. There's no people movers. There's 100-something gates. I mean, it's a big airport.
Yeah.
But it's a region, kind of not a regional, but it's not an international airport. So there's no people movers.
Okay.
There's one big concourse and then terminals off of that you walk. It looks good. It's big. It's wide open. And they just
talk to me about food options.
They're normal. They're no better than anywhere else.
Well,
it gets pretty crowded.
Look, not LaGuardia. JFK has a Shake Shack, right? In the Delta terminal. That's big. But like JFK is no exaggeration from when I lived in the financial district, a 2 to 3 hour cab ride.
Right.
And that's the only way to get
sucks.
there. It's terrible. Man. It's terrible. Now we're Newark. We're like you. We're 30 minutes and we're through security. It's great.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Right. And I love Newark, but Newark's also a huge airport that has terrible food options because they only have Newark branded food. There's no branded restaurants. You can't get fast food. You have to get their version of like Italianimo or like Burger Guy, Burger
There's
Prince.
there's always like a Wolfgang Puck's American Bistro.
Not even. I would kill for a Wolfgang Puck's American Bistro at this place. You have to deal with they have like a deal with like the people that did our high school cafeteria, Aramark.
Yeah, Aramark,
Right.
there you go.
Who do the stadium, so you can get nachos with cheese. It's not even that good. I wish you could get nachos with cheese. Now I will say their breakfast is phenomenal. It's very good. Whoops.
Here's
And like
problem,
the
though.
cool thing about Newark is you sit down at any seat and it has an iPad at it, and that iPad has access to
Yeah.
all of the food that you can order in the airport, which is great. Except for the food sucks.
You mean when you go and sit at like one of the restaurants?
No,
Order
I
it
mean,
without
even
talking.
even at your gate, there's like even at your gate there are some normal seats, and then there's tables like kind of high top tables that have iPads at them, and the seats are like screwed into the ground, so people can't crowd into them, and you can order food to them.
And they
People will bring
deliver
food.
to you?
Yeah,
Really? That's interesting.
yeah.
I've
It
seen
is.
the places where that they have the iPads at like the so at the Southwest terminal actually at Reagan, they have a big like right in the middle. It's like a full 360. It looks pretty good actually. It's like a 360 bar, and
Where's
with
this?
seats everywhere. This is at Reagan, at Terminal A. It's the old terminal. It's where Southwest flies out of, and you order without having to talk to anybody. I mean, I will say that is. But let me back up.
Yeah, that part I like. Oh yeah, I'm looking
I
at it
don't-
now. That is cool.
I
can
don't
see
care.
all the iPads.
Throw
Dude,
it-
those
throw
are
it
like
on
iPads. They actually have the iPad screen on them.
Throw it up on the share it because I
Okay.
don't even.
Right.
It's been a while since I flew out of there, but I remember that being
Yeah.
the case. But food options at your home airport are irrelevant, right? That's it. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So, but who cares? Especially if it only takes you 25 minutes to get through security. Eat at home. I'm not eating at the airport.
No way, dude. No way. Here's why. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
but-
say, yeah, you're right. If it only takes you that long to get through security, but New York airports are so unpredictable that I can never count on that, right? I can never count on that. Like we've had to spend a night at Newark overnight because the delays were so like we've seen every scenario of travel. So we leave like 3 hours before our flight. If you're on a 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. flight, I'm not eating breakfast when I wake up at 4 a.m. in my house. Like I don't want to eat at 4 a.m. when I wake up, So I'm going to go and like I want to get there early enough.
What the
So I
fuck are you going to
avoid-
the airport 3 hours?
I'm telling you, dude, you never know. Between the traffic, what could be happening through security, and the potential delays, you just never fucking know. Ask Shira too. Like I've seen any possible scenario you could imagine I've been through. So now we get there very early, and you got to have good food for that reason. You got to have it. I mean, at the very least, give me an Egg McMuffin from McDonald's and I'm happy, right?
Yeah. There's
But
never a
don't give me,
McDonald's
like-
in an airport. There's never
Except for
McDonald's
Pittsburgh.
in airports. Is there one in Pittsburgh?
There's 2 in Pittsburgh. Still. Remember that one? The big one is like right in the main concourse before you break
Dude.
off into or maybe it's closer to like Terminal B.
I don't know. I flew into Pittsburgh last summer.
It's like a ghost town, man.
Dude, yeah, 2 full terminals were just done. I
Yeah.
will say the only thing I've seen there that I haven't ever seen anywhere else is a water fountain, like something you fill your water bottle with. Not a fountain, but like a bottle filler that has carbonated water, like sparkling water.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a very unnecessary. Pittsburgh International Airport gives non-flyers airside access. I mean, this is a good-looking airport.
It is. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Look at Reagan. Look up DCA, man. I'm telling you, the main concourse at DCA is really nice. What's a good picture there? Yeah, the first one.
Wait, sorry. Let me go back.
Yeah, right.
This one?
I got you. Yeah. Like that's the main
Yeah,
concourse.
cool. I love how shiny the floor is.
Yeah, they must have just buffed it.
Must have just for this picture. It must have buffed it up real nice. So this
Um,
probably gets you pretty riled up, huh?
That's the new one, the new terminal. They just opened it a couple years ago, maybe.
For American?
Dude, okay. So let me tell you the story of that.
Yeah.
At Reagan, they had this gate called 35X. And it was for you can see there, like that's what replaced it. It's all small airplanes. Like I used to fly out of there when I would go to like Cincinnati.
Right. This is the to Cincinnati planes. Yeah.
Right.
The jets are up, not on the wings. They're up on the fuselage.
Yep. And so the way you used to do this is 30. If you saw 35X on your ticket, you'd go to gate 35X, and you would it was like a bus terminal, literally. Like you would wait there until they called your flight. Then you'd go down an escalator and get on a bus. You'd literally get on a bus to then drive you to an airplane that you weren't positive was going to wherever your destination was. Like you'd have to ask the flight attendants.
Yeah, it wasn't clearly marked. They didn't really care if you got on the wrong flight because where are you going to go? You're either going to Minnesota, Milwaukee, or St. Paul.
It's not even that. It's not even like cool places like that. It's like you're either going to Cincinnati or like Roanoke, Virginia. Because they'd call multiple flights at the same time. So because there were 40 airplanes, not 40, 30 airplanes out there.
Yeah.
And so people are getting on different buses to go to different, but there's no checking. Like you would basically figure it out if you sat down on the plane and someone was like, I think I'm sitting in this seat. And I am going to Roanoke. Are you going to Roanoke?
Nope, Cincinnati. Classic mix-up.
Yeah, terrible.
What do you think about these jetways? Notice how some of them are, like they Tetris to this one in there.
Yeah.
And some of them are straight, and this one's kind of got a bend at the elbow. How do you feel about that?
I think it's cool. I think the details of airports and the logistics are fascinating. And so they designed those jetways so that they could fold them to get maximum airplanes, right? They're like, let's just figure out a way to get every airplane we can into here.
Yeah, because
like
airplanes are very tiny. They're very space consuming, or they take up a ton of space.
Right. But you cannot, like, you can't mess that up, right? Like you can't have an airplane touch wings with another airplane. That's two airplanes out of commission.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money that costs to lose.
A ton.
So that they're going to repave. They have 3 runways at DCA. One main one where most of the airplanes take off, and then a couple of like commuter runways. They're going to repave all of them.
Oops.
They are building an asphalt plant on site to be able to do this overnight it's going to take a couple of years. But yeah, it's dude, I think it's a cool place, man. I really like it. I like being able to just, you don't have to get on a people mover. You walk in and that's it. You're there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And again, the fact that the friend I was talking to about this lived so close that he was through security in 15 minutes after getting into a cab a few times.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you're not competing with a ton of other people, any airport's great, right? But this one actually seems like it's cool on top of that. So what is it is busy as shit.
Oh yeah. We were playing golf. It's right across Ronald
Reagan, stuck at the airport.
It's right across the river from the golf course that we play. It's got great views of it from the course. We were on it. We went to a tee box, and the first plane took off right as we were walking up to the tee box. But that plane.
This is really close.
What do you mean close?
Wait, so DCA, close to the monuments, like close to downtown DC.
It's right across the river.
So it's called DCA Reagan, right?
DCA is the code, Reagan National.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So this is cool. All right. The approach.
You must be on a different screen.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry. So 5 things we love about Reagan National Airport. There's the cherry blossoms. It's pretty. Look at this. This is your airport, buddy. How proud are you?
Yep. I made it. So the
view
options are
is
that one
enormous.
or Dulles, which is so right
Yeah.
there.
Well,
That's
what about
actually where the golf
BWI?
course
Is it-
is. BWI is
What's like the main hub then?
so.
Where
if
do
you're
most
flying
people who are
domestic,
flying out of DC that live around you go?
it depends on what airline you want to fly, right?
So I used to be Delta, which I loved. Now I'm United, which I hate.
So you'd be flying out of Dulles if if you're trying to get United miles. That's where you got to go out of Dulles. And
What about Delta?
probably Dulles as well. I mean, again, the DCA, it's mostly American. It was a lot of actually U.S. Airways, which
Oh, yeah?
mostly American bought, and so
Yeah.
you're flying out of DCA if you're American. The Delta flights, they have a shuttle to Newark, maybe LaGuardia. There's a shuttle that you can literally just show up and buy a ticket for, which is funny to me.
Yeah, that
there's
is funny. Imagine doing. Remember, in the old movies, that used to be a thing. I'll take a
Just
ticket
roll up
to Salt Lake City. Now
How much
they'd be
is it?
like,
$200?
You're not going anywhere.
You just like flip
Sit
with
down.
cash.
Yeah,
Pay with cash.
yeah. Here's some money. I want to go to. I gotta get to New York tonight.
You used to be able to go through security to get to the gate without flying anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that was a 9/11 change. What else was I was trying to think of this the other day, because that we were old enough. We were in our 20s, right? We were old enough to have experienced some life as airplane travelers. Airplane travelers? Air travelers? What do you call people who fly? Flyers? Just people?
I think airplane travelers is the generally accepted term for that.
Maybe just travelers. I don't think you need to say airplane travelers. Like this thing says Twitter tweet when I hover over it. Did you see that?
No.
It's not doing it anymore, but it was saying Twitter tweet. Do it again. Do the Twitter tweet thing. Oh man, no, I messed it up.
Yeah, there it is. Play that. Oh, he's going the wrong way. He's taking off.
It's cool.
There's a great plane spotting right at not right at the end of the runway, but it's not far off the runway, maybe 300 or 400 yards. You can stand there and watch the planes come in. They're low enough that you could, if you really wanted to, you could probably hit them with something, like throw a baseball in the air.
You think so? That's a pretty good throw. Oh wow! So they're really that close?
There's got to be a video of that. Let me see if I can find something.
Yeah, here. Is this the plane you took to Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was like that. I only have one prop though on the front. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Actually, yeah.
Oh, that's a cool facade.
Yeah, I'll show you this.
All right, here. Let me stop sharing. Ben's Chili Bowl restaurant. You didn't even mention this.
That looks amazing, airport, man. I don't need it. At the
Stop being an idiot and have it eat at the. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Is this really what it looks like?
Hold on. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the main concourse.
That's gorgeous.
You can see the men's room.
It's a cool looking men's room. That's a good sign. Hey man, that's a really beautiful airport. I don't think I've ever been here. Do you go to the rocking chair in Terminal A with these guys?
So Terminal A is where all of the Southwest flights are. So unless you're flying out of there, you're not getting off. That I will say, Terminal A sucks, man. They have like the only way to get out. It's really crowded. It's not great. Here we go.
I'll take your word for it. I'm starting to feel very unemployed.
Getting a StreamYard ad using StreamYard. You
can't throw a baseball to hit that. I'm sorry.
It's pretty
but,
close, right?
Well, maybe you can. It is pretty close.
No. What are you doing?
Hey, have you ever gotten into Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Yes.
You've played it a lot. Or you watched it?
No, I bought it. How do I make this bigger?
I think we talked about this on a podcast actually, because I told you could do the Top Gun flight with Darkstar.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's like a patch you could get for the Microsoft Simulator where you can do the flight, the Darkstar flight, and go
That's
like
cool.
up into the atmosphere. Yeah.
The problem with Flight Simulator is you need to kind of buy a yoke. You have to buy the gear to make it really. It's tough with a mouse or even a joystick or a controller. It's not great.
I would imagine
buy,
it's just
like, the
not
stuff.
enjoyable or rewarding, right? Like you want to. When you say a yoke, does that mean the stick and rudder
Yeah, like
controls? Yeah.
Yeah, which I think would be really fun. But
How much does that
almost
set you back?
Well, it's going to be a couple $100, right? And then you're like, now, am I
That's it?
really going to do this or not? And
A couple $100
to buy a nice yoke, yeah. But
I would say
a lot
that's
of money.
it is a lot of money, but like think about what you can do. You just said if you could do anything in the world, you'd be a pilot.
Yeah.
For $200 to get that same sensation, I don't think that's crazy.
I agree. That's a good point. Didn't think of it that way.
If it was something that you said like, yeah, maybe once in a while I'm interested in it, but like if it's a top interest of yours, let her rip, man. $200. Hold on, I'm gonna write this down as a gift idea for you because your birthday's coming up.
Yeah. Thanks. I got too much other. That's the other thing, man. I'm looking at my synth here. I've got guitars on the wall. I've
got that cool synth, right? I was thinking you should play that on a podcast. You should play that thing.
Wonder if I can. I'm gonna go get another. These boxes are so nice. They're so simple and they're like toys. And there's another one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a drum machine today, I think, actually.
Show me.
To go with it.
Show me. I want to see what you're getting. I love those things. I have a couple of them. Nearby here.
I'll show you. I'm gonna get this one. I don't know how I zoom in without like magnifying everything. There we go. What do you
So
have?
these things, this is like it's made by Rolly.
It's a controller.
these?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a controller, and it has these little things that kind of like combine on. I don't know if you can see this.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen ads for those.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, they're toys, right? But
Right.
that thing can do the thing it does much better. This thing can do, well, it's a controller, like you said. It can do a lot more, but
It controls other equipment.
no, you can make music on it. It's like a keyboard.
Oh, it actually has its own sounds
Yeah.
and stuff? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this thing just looks so, I don't know if you can tell, it's just like so
Yeah.
much fun to play with.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
It does look cool. So I've got
That's
I'm gonna
awesome,
go get
though.
this one. And I have this one. I'll unplug it so I can show it.
Could you fire it up and start playing it?
Bass. I don't think I can. I actually thought about doing that. So this is the bass.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And
Like
you can
all I
make-
want to do is touch and play with that.
Dude, they're $120. Like it's
I know. I
not
looked it up.
prohibitive.
I couldn't justify it because of the recent joblessness.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe
But,
then make that a gift to yourself once you
Yeah.
get that new role, huh?
Yeah.
But like having this box and then the one on the screen here, they play well together.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, a drum
like
machine, I
that.
think, would be a lot more fun. But then I heard you playing that bass, and it's so. It's so satisfying. Like I love the creation of music. I know you do too.
Yeah.
It's just so. I don't know. I look at this stuff and I would think like I wouldn't know where to start. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't know where to start buying one of these.
So that's what these are good at because they are kind of dumbed down. This one's actually pretty complicated. The bass is fairly simple, and you can get the ones that cost $1,000. I agree with you. Like I'd open it and plug it in and be like, what now? I have no idea how to use this thing. These things are
Yeah.
simple, man. It's like these are the keys. For the drum, it's a little bit different,
Right.
but
When I went
This
deep
is
on
the
the
sequencer.
reviews, the only criticism of that bass one was that it only did like what was it, 16 different memory slots or something like, I can't remember what it was, but
yeah, there's issues with it. But let me try this. You know, it's limited, but that's why it's $130. You know, and not
Yeah.
$1,000. Let me just back out of here.
so
Anyway,
these
I wanna
this
get one of
company,
those.
these things, they magnet together. I don't know if I showed that properly,
Yeah,
but like they have
can-
these and they
you
attach
can
to each other.
buy multiple keys and connect them together to make a longer keyboard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Or
a great
like a
idea.
whole, you can make a whole thing. Yeah, it is. They don't perform as well. They're not as fun. They're not as fun to use as they seem. The little blocks are. The keyboard isn't. This is fun, but the keyboard isn't that much fun because like you don't get a good like tactile response. It's very spongy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well,
I don't
these
know if you can
things.
see, it's like very spongy. So you don't get a good. I don't know. It's just not that much fun.
Well, and the Volcas don't have any feedback at all. It's just a ribbon. And I don't know how to play the keys,
No, I mean,
so
neither.
I don't want one that has. I don't want a synthesizer that has keys on it. I don't know how to play I don't want to learn how to play the piano.
Yeah,
just wanna make
I know.
music.
I don't think you need to learn how to play the piano, but I would like to know like how to just make a few chords on the piano because I think that's all you need.
Well,
Right.
okay, so here's yes, I agree with you because you want to be able to play stuff that sounds correct,
Right.
not just good, but like it's right.
Right.
And so I have this piece of equipment that I got. It's a controller. It's similar to what you just showed me. It's in a completely different form though. So I plug
Right.
this into Ableton, and I can.
Yeah.
There's a note mode that I can go into and tell it what scale I want, and it will only put notes on here that are correct in that scale. So you can't mess it up. Like you literally cannot
That's really cool.
play. You can't.
I used to have a
play
board
notes.
like that. I don't know what happened to it. I think I sold it. I had a board like that, like a sampler board with a little drum pad. I think it was made by not Ableton, but maybe it was Ableton. No, it was Machina.
Novation. Oh,
Machina.
yeah. Right.
Yeah. It was cool. It was fun, but it was too complicated for me, so I sold it. I wanted something simpler, and then I just
That's
never resumed my search.
That's the other. I mean, the really fancy stuff looks cool, and it's got a ton of knobs and shit, and like a little maybe
Yeah,
a
it was
little
big.
screen on
Like
it.
it
and
was.
stuff.
It was like it was big. It was like a pretty big board.
So the nice stuff. I've owned enough of this stuff and sold a bunch of it to know what I won't use, and I need the Volcas have all the knobs like on the front of the thing. There's no like you're not diving through the menus to try to find something.
Right.
You're just using the knobs that are there, which is great. This has only buttons and sliders. I don't have to like find how to change something. A lot of the really expensive stuff they're like, oh, you can use this instead of using the computer. I'm like, yeah, but in the computer, I can just use my mouse and find what I need. And change.
Yeah. So
Here, I
that's
gotta,
exactly what I bought.
Yeah.
I wanted something that I didn't have to use software for, and so I bought it, and I was like, how the fuck do I operate this thing? I didn't realize that there was an advantage to having the software and not having to like, it was too complicated to get through everything, to do simple stuff.
It's a cool looking piece of gear, but the learning curve is so steep that it won't.
Yeah. I had a white one too. So it looked really cool. Yeah. It looked great.
I bought it was a complete workstation. I bought this when I was just out of college, and it was super expensive. I should for the time I shouldn't have bought it. It was like a full keyboard, and it had knobs, and it had all kinds of shit. It had a big screen on it, and I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't have any. There's no software. I'm gonna make music on this thing, And the only thing I ever fucking learned how to do on it was to hit the demo button to show people what it could possibly do.
You want me to show you what I bought?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not. This is the most recent version of it, so I don't think it had this big of a screen on it. But it was this thing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It didn't. The screen was still like an LED screen. It wasn't like this. It was much smaller, and it was like orange.
That's
But
not. It
this
looks
is-
cool, man.
It looks very cool. But like,
Yeah.
good luck getting anything accomplished, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, plug
Anything
it
that has a
in and-
browser button.
It's yeah, dude. That's if you could figure out how to use it, that'd be great. But I just don't feel. I don't understand how that would like doing that. Right, what it's showing there on the left with the waves, the actual sound files, and
Yeah,
pick like
that'd be
I
great.
just want a mouse. I just want a mouse where I can click and drag. I don't want to like have to do knobs and
You know what's
get
interesting
there.
though? The thing that's kept me from learning how to make music with software is that I hate my thinking of buying this was I used the Machina app, right? On my iPhone and iPad, and I loved it. Like I would, because you could drag, pinch, same thing with clips that looked like that. Samples, you could drag them on top of each other. And I just liked using my hands more. So I thought this is perfect, right? This is the this is expanding past what the iPad can do into a real machine, but it's the same thing. I'm using my hands, my fingers. I'm not using a mouse and a screen, and it wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what it is, but I don't like dragging with a mouse. It feels like it's taking me away from the creative process of the music, and it's making me, I don't know, feel like everybody else, I guess.
you're not playing
Is
an
that weird?
instrument, right? That feels like
Yeah.
maybe you're playing an instrument a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like I'm flowing and I'm going and I'm creating and like it's coming out of me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny because you can buy a piece of machine. I don't know how much that costs. Probably $800,
$700,
Okay.
$600-$700. Yeah.
So you can buy the nicest version of Ableton, which has more functionality for maybe not half that, but less than that. And never own a piece of equipment otherwise. I mean, you can buy little
Yeah.
things to make it easier to do what you want to do. But it's that's what I wish I realized earlier was it's not about like just buying the software and using your mouse and keyboard will get you farther, eat faster than buying something that's more expensive, that's more complicated
Yeah.
to use.
How much is the software compared to this? So if this is $600 or $700, how much is the software?
I just bought the new version of Ableton. I had an old one that I upgraded. So let me check here. So I got like a credit.
Yeah.
I used it when I was doing Bad Dome stuff, and I used it to cut
I
out
know, of
samples
course.
and stuff. Let me see.
So this is saying browse sounds without breaking the flow. So they're advertising to exactly what we're talking about.
The best version of Ableton right now is $500 from what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Kind of hard to get.
Yeah. So this comes with the software. So really you're spending an extra $200.
For the
Not
which
crazy.
makes sense, right? You're buying a piece of equipment.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, it's the amount of stuff that's out there is crazy. Like it's you can buy something for exactly what you are looking for, pretty much. I wanted
know.
the reason I bought the one I just showed you with all the buttons was if you go into Ableton, there's a session view where you can load clips in to a bunch of these different columns and then trigger them to play a show, which I didn't use that to play most of my shows.
Oh, so you could have them all loaded up if you wanted to ahead of time.
Right. So I played a couple New Year's Eve shows like after I was done doing Bad Domes, and I used Ableton instead of the other program I was using. And I didn't have this at the time, but you could build it in, and then it maps that directly onto all those buttons, and so you can just literally push the buttons to trigger samples for hours.
That's cool.
My idea is I can, and the way I use it is I have the Volca bass routed into Ableton, and then I can trigger vocal samples or drums using the pads, and then kind of like make something that way. And it's fun.
But
I do that.
you
a lot.
need the Volca drum machine to do that, or you can do it with the pads on whatever you have that that MK thing you showed me.
That plays samples that I have already cut. Like I have thousands of samples that I've cut up used from Bad Domes, right? So I have all these drum loops and shit like that already built, like from songs, not like built from scratch. But you have to use Ableton to do that. The idea with the Volcas is that you can connect them together and just plug them into a speaker and make music that way. And I
know.
I want that. That's why I'm buying the drum, because I want to be able to do that as well.
But you can't. Can the drum machine use to be to sample as well?
No, but you can buy a Volca sample, and you can then do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to get that one too. I was last night.
Yeah.
I was watching. But again, man, it's not that expensive. They're toys. The Volca sample's even cheaper. It's like $110.
Do you have studio monitors, or do you use headphones?
I use headphones usually, but I do have studio monitors and a sub if I want to play.
So I think like not having monitors and a sub and buying that.
You don't need those.
I know you don't need them, but like, fuck if I wouldn't want them. Friday night, get a couple of pops, maybe take a little gummy, come down and just let her rip.
Oh yeah, well that's what happens. But
that's the best, man.
A better set of wired headphones will always be better than.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's not going to annoy the neighbors and like blow your hair back. It's not going to make you have fun. Not going to make you vibrate. I guess it will actually. It will make you vibrate if you have a pair of good headphones.
Yeah, you get lost in those headphones if they're good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love this stuff, right? The sounds where it's like soul sessions, West Africa, Rickenbacker bass, the gentleman.
For gentlemanly music.
Yeah.
For music that won't offend
faces.
Mother.
Yeah, their software, Native Instruments software, is terrible. It's great on the iOS devices, but it's not so. I wouldn't say terrible. It's just it looks like they put their R&D into iOS,
okay,
which is probably a good move.
Yeah, I got you to use it, right?
Yeah, got me to use it. I couldn't even sample on it, which is kind of hard to do. But like you used to be able to when I first got it, you used to be able to sample anything from your iTunes library.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Yeah. I'm not surprised that was changed.
Yeah, me neither. But it was, and then it was like you would have to go through and I don't know how they were eliminating them, but then it was like half of the songs. And now I think there's like 1 or 2 songs in my iTunes library that I can sample only because I had already sampled them, I guess. So I still had samples from them loaded in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
how do you sample music? Like where do you get the files?
So I haven't done it in 10 years. So let me think.
Has that changed?
I think you have to get it, it used to be, man, I went on Amazon and downloaded some acapellas, like studio version acapellas on Amazon, off of Amazon.
Paid for them though.
Paid for them. Fine. I'll spend $2 to get a Whitney Houston, like studio quality acapella.
I would rather have the beat without the. I think it's harder to find the beat without the vocals than it is the acapella, right?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to. So the way my shows went was I was only using small pieces of the song, so I wasn't using the entire song. So and usually there are parts of songs that don't have vocals or even have minimal vocals that you can use if you cut that piece up. And I don't remember how I used to get those songs. But I know I had a torrent downloader at one point. Like I remember being like, man, I have this Phil Collins song or something like that. When I was really into it, like I want this Phil Collins song, and I'd go onto BitTorrent and I'd be like, just download every song Phil Collins has ever made. Just download them all, like all 15 albums or whatever, and just. I have them now. They're mine, and I can cut them up.
I never crossed the knowledge gap on torrent. I mean, I had it like someone was walking me through it one time, and I lost interest. But like, what was that? Is that still a thing that people use? BitTorrent?
I don't know. I I've
But it's just a
I
way to
think it's
illegally download stuff, right?
yeah, and it's a risky thing, right? It's like,
Right.
you know, you don't know what you're getting or who you're getting it from, and
Right.
so that ended. But that's how I used to get some of the songs. Some of the songs I owned, right? Because man, we were in college when Napster was a thing, and I downloaded my freshman year. I
Yeah.
downloaded like 3,000 songs, and so I
Yeah, of
saved
course.
them
You
all.
still
I had
have them?
all. Yeah,
You still have those hard drives? Wow.
I've transferred them over and over.
Yeah, I know, but like I didn't think of saving. There's like I have one portable terabyte hard drive, which is getting filled up now. That has like everything in my life on it.
Yeah,
And but I didn't. There's stuff I've lost. I would have liked to have kept that I, a computer went bad before I had backed it up or something like that. That happens, but yeah. That's great. I can't believe you still have your stuff from high school. That's crazy. But like, okay, but what if you want to just, how are you separating the vocals and the beat?
you're not. You're just finding pieces of the studio's like produced track that have what you want. I'm not separating. I'm not going through that process of like trying to figure out how to separate.
No, I know,
the
but
beats.
if you're combining the vocals from one song with the beat from another song, the software just does that for you?
No, you have to find each piece individually and then you put it together live. So there's acapella songs.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. How do you find? Got it. Okay. So that's what you're
Like
talking about, right? Okay.
On the torrents, or whatever. I actually can't remember how I found. I think just the other thing you could do is go on YouTube and just find some people have already tried to do it or have done it and found it and thrown it up on YouTube, and then you can rip audio from a YouTube video. And so I did that.
I remember looking for it, and it was a lot harder than I had expected.
Yeah.
Right. To just find the beat or just find the vocals.
If you could, it really limits you, right? Because you can only work with what you can find, and what you can find, the universe of songs is just not that big of usable stuff.
Dude, that'd be an interesting business or website to start, is selling. I mean, you would never be able to sell them openly. That's the problem, is that like you'd have to go through so many music labels and so many artists and so many publishing and writing credits that by the time you're done paying everyone out, there's no money left to be made.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul's Boutique.
But, yeah. That's at the top of the list of albums that could never be made today.
Oh, that's what they say.
Never.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time they talk about it, it's like this is the last album that will ever be made like this.
But it was a good one. They made it count.
I read that 33 1/3 for Paul's Boutique just last month. And I love it. Yeah, that's it. So that place isn't called Paul's Boutique. They put that sign up. I read that in the book. Yeah.
I remember when Shira, I love the Doc Gooden jersey. You see that?
So they staged it. They put a lot of stuff in there that like.
But that's just a great jersey. I mean, this is shifting topics to jerseys.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite all-time jerseys. That and the Bo Jackson Kansas City Royals, the Doc Gooden. And because Doc Gooden was so dominant and like coked out and striking everyone out.
There's some mystique there. For sure.
I remember when Shira went to visit New York for the first time, we were living in Pittsburgh growing up. I was like, are you going to go to Paul's Boutique? Can you go to Paul's Boutique? Get something there? Because like I didn't know where Brooklyn was or how close it was. I just figured that's in New York and it would be a popular tourist destination.
Lee's Sportswear is the real Paul's Boutique.
Is it still there?
I don't know.
I'd be shocked. Those stores are a dime a dozen, especially somewhere like Brooklyn. You know how big Brooklyn is? Like a massive Brooklyn is? It's huge. Goes to the ocean. Or people who live in Brooklyn who see the ocean from their window.
What?
Yeah, Coney Island.
Isn't that Queens?
No.
Isn't that in Queens?
Well, no. Coney Island's in Brooklyn. It's nuts, isn't it?
Throw it up on the screen.
You want me to?
Yeah. Let's get to
what am I
even
going to look up here? Yeah, I guess Coney Island.
I'm going to share my whole screen. I'm going to give you the whole Give me the whole thing.
Full experience.
Yeah.
That's the craziest
Oh, look
part
at
right
that.
there.
There you go.
Yeah. Goes on forever, technically.
All those tabs.
Look at how I Roy G. Biv my icon tray as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good level
Took some
of
time, but it was worth it.
Roy G.
Okay. Okay. So
New York. New York City.
so this is all Brooklyn.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Dude,
look,
I
it
don't think
says
that's
Brooklyn
right.
right there.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I think that's Queens. I think Queens
So
is
here's
is south of Brooklyn.
Queens is up here. There's Astoria Boulevard. This is Queens up here. Zoom out a little more. Yeah, see? Here's Queens. This is Queens.
Yeah, right.
Queens goes out to JFK, but all of this is Brooklyn. Whoops. So like all the way you can take the R train from where I used to live in the financial district from the stock exchange to Sheepshead Bay in 20 minutes, to Coney Island in 30 minutes. What's crazy, dude, is Sheepshead Bay, Brighton Beach, Coney Island. This is all Brooklyn. This is all Brooklyn.
Got it. Okay.
Nuts, right? But like these areas in Sheepshead Bay, there's houses that are 30 minutes on the train from New York City that cost $400,000. Crazy,
so
right?
why don't more people live there?
It's like a lot of Orthodox Jews, a lot of Russians. Like in Brighton Beach, when you walk around, the signs for stores and like the bank are in Russian,
Really?
in like the Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah, a lot of Ukrainians. I think because it's still not a very good area, right?
But
You
why
ever seen
is
He
it?
Got Game? Yeah, it's beachfront
No, I
property.
haven't.
I don't know. This is what's crazy. Like this could be if I
It's
this kind of a
beachfront.
beach,
It's more
this
like
proximity to Manhattan.
yeah, but it's not great, right? Like that beach
But
kind
it's
of
only not great because it isn't great. Because look, right down here, Rockaway Beach, then you
Yeah.
start getting into the Hamptons.
right. But that's
Which
different.
is the
That's
most-
like that's on the ocean. Beach.
This is on the ocean too.
It kind of isn't though.
So there's the Hamptons up there. I mean, it's
Yeah,
quieter, but it is. I mean, I've taken the subway, got out of the train, got off the train, walked down, walked another 10 minutes, and then put my feet in the ocean. It's a crazy thing to take the subway to the ocean. It's a kind of a cool thing too.
So we
But
go
Coney
to
Island
we
is
go to,
definitely the ocean.
What
What do you think it is?
That ocean adjacent. Is that I'm looking at the North Atlantic Ocean and it's showing me that little jutting of a I can't see the name of it.
This Rockaway Inlet,
Rockaway Inlet, yeah.
and then you got to go around that. But Coney Island's over here. I don't know, man. Maybe it's Bayish. I guess I'll give you that. It's Bay.
Yeah.
And then the Hamptons are. Where did we go?
That's the ocean. Man, you need a scroll wheel on that.
You know what's crazy is that you can't see. I'm using the scroll wheel here, but you can't. The Maps app doesn't let you take full advantage of the. I'm in the Great Lakes area. Look how big Lake Huron is. You ever seen how big Hudson Bay is?
It's a big one.
It's huge.
I will say, I didn't realize. And I'm kind of ashamed to say this. I did not realize Michigan had an Upper Peninsula until I was almost 30 years old.
Oh, same here. How did you learn about it?
I was on a date with someone, and she said she was from the Upper Peninsula. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what part of this is that? She's like, no, there's another part of Michigan. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I learned it from the Joe Mauer ESPN commercial when he said he was a Uper, UP, Upper Peninsula. That's how I learned it.
It's like, I just want the mitten. Just let's get rid of that part because it's messing up the whole. Mitten is the easiest way to identify any state. That's us. There we are.
How about this view of the Earth?
Is that live?
Yeah.
Live sunlight.
Yeah, live sunlight.
Good morning, West Coast.
I mean, this is mostly ocean here.
Right.
Yeah, good morning, West Coast.
Just
It's
rocketing
cool.
through
This is the
I
coolest
like
part.
that.
Have you ever seen like you ever gone to North Korea? Look at
Yeah.
this. You can see it already.
Yeah.
The Korean Peninsula, the 38th parallel, and there's no light above it.
Yeah. Zoom in on that.
If I get too close, it'll take away the real-time light. But look at that.
Really?
Yeah, like if I
Yeah,
see.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I mean, there is South Korea and North Korea, nothing. No electricity above that.
Not a lot going on in North Korea. It is late. Let's be honest.
No, dude,
Everyone's
look at all
getting their
the
state mandated sleep. State mandated sleep time.
I just picture that in a North Korean apartment, a loudspeaker comes on. Hello, people. The Supreme Leader would like you all to go to sleep. And that's how they
Stage
do it.
mandated rest time for a patriotism service. Yeah, they wake up the
You
entire
ever seen
country
that?
at the same time.
There's a documentary about something called the Mass Games, which is like their Olympics. Have you ever seen that or heard of that?
No.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It follows these two girls who are, I guess, gymnasts. They're gymnasts, and they do this floor routine as part of the Mass Games. And the Mass Games is huge. I mean, it is at the scale of the Olympics, but it's just for North Korea, right? And these little girls are probably like 8 and 10 years old, and they talk about pleasing the supreme leader with a enthusiasm and love that with the enthusiasm and love of 10,000 little girls. Like, if I could only please the supreme leader for 1 second, my whole life would be so worth it. And they were so excited that he might show up to their routine. And he didn't, of course. But they were like, afterwards, they were like, but that's okay. It's okay because we know we made him proud.
Yeah. I think it's funny that is like an incredibly impoverished country, and the only fat guy in North Korea is Kim Jong-un.
Have you seen recently he's been getting his sister into the mix too?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have her making statements now because they're grooming her, because that kid is going to die from diabetes or some diabetes related illness.
They have no cure for obesity. There's never been an obese person in the history of the country until him.
That's true. Smokes. I mean, that is a lean country, right? They are unfortunately fit. So I have a meeting on the 1st on March 1st. It's called a monetary interview with the New Jersey Division of Labor to provide proof of employment, pay stubs, and W-2. Let me say this again. It's a phone appointment for me to provide proof of employment using pay stubs or W-2. How do you think that's going to go? I've got them right here. I'm holding them. I have the pay stubs.
Okay, read us.
Sir, we don't have any record of them, but I have them.
Yeah, well, could you please read us the first line of the W-2?
W-2.
Don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, we'll know you're lying.
If this all happened because I put in the wrong social security number on my unemployment app, then it's on me. But the fact that they couldn't find any record of wages under my social security number, I'm kind of thinking it might be them. We'll see.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing the update.
What would you guess the weekly maximum benefit is for the state of New Jersey?
Weekly? Well, it's probably based on your salary too, right? It's a percentage
yeah,
of that. Okay, so the maximum.
We both maxed out, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
I think above like $90,000 a year, you max it out or something like that.
Okay, right. So I don't know. $1,700
a week or a month?
A week.
That would be nice.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
No,
That's
that's-
more. It's like that's pretty good.
So let's say it's 50. So $1,000 a week would be 50 grand. So probably $1,000 a week.
What you just pitched is $72,000 a year.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty nice.
good.
Yeah. Now it's $830,
Okay, that makes more sense.
which is decent. It's $3,200 a month or something, like $3,300 a month. But it's half of that in New York. $450.
Yeah, that's
New York City, you lose your job. Your rent is $6,000 a month, and that's not even for a wealthy person. Unemployment pays, so $450 a week is what? $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month. It's not a lot of money to live off of. If you don't get a severance, you don't get any help. That's not a lot of money to live off of.
no. Well, good thing you don't live in New York.
Yeah, it is.
How about that?
About it. About it.
All right, let's call it because I gotta do some work here.
Not me.
Logan?
I've got an interview at 12:30. Only one today.
It's Friday. No one wants to be working doing interviews on Fridays and shit. So yeah, well, good luck.
Yeah.
We'll
Thanks,
we'll
man.
catch up again next week.
Sounds good.
All right, dude.
Welcome
See
home.
ya. Thanks.
Later.